Hello, and welcome to the Father and Son Formula One podcast. We are talking about the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring, or the Formula One MSC Cruises Austrian Grand Prix 2025 or 2025. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm the father in the title, Graham Miller, and here's my son, Toby.
Hello.
Before we started this, we were just looking through the FP1 standings, and Alex Dunn coming in fourth in it was Norris's McLaren.
Yeah, his first time in a Formula One car, actually.
What, legitimately out on track? He might have done some TPC and stuff.
I think he might have done a closed test here and there. They tend to do that, but
yeah, they wouldn't
still,
just chuck him out in one.
2/10 off the lead, a tenth or so behind his teammate.
Actually, a tenth or so behind Piastri will probably be worrying everybody who, on the grid, to be honest.
That's pretty much where you'd expect Norris to be, actually. Like, if that said Norris instead of Dunn, you wouldn't be, astonished, would you?
You wouldn't be like somebody's having a bad day.
You'd be like, oh. Yeah.
And looking at this, what's BEG? Is that Beganovic?
Yes.
In the
Dino
Ferrari?
Beganovic. He's F2, but he's quite young.
But you're right. I mean, Beganovic is plus, 8 tenths. And Hamilton's plus 5 tenths, so there's pretty much 3 tenths between them. And
there's a much bigger gap, 9 places.
9 places, which you kind of expect for a...
Yeah, for a rookie.
Yeah. So yeah, props to Alex Dunn for that. That was... I don't think we saw FP1, and looking down, everybody completed 30 to 34 laps, so it does look like nothing happened.
Bog standard practice, apart from Dunn. I remember seeing Alex Dunn, news articles or posts about Alex Dunn at the top and thinking, actually fairly significant.
Russell topped the timing charts there.
Yeah, this is FP2.
In FP2, it was very surprisingly...
McLaren won too.
Yeah, I mean, who'd have thought
what was
that?
Lance Stroll doing up in fourth, now that I look?
There are upgrades. I think in Austria only Alonso had the upgrade.
Oh, that makes sense, because he was kind of competitive in Austria, wasn't he?
Yeah. We'll have to wait for Britain to see what happens when Stroll, I believe, gets the upgrades.
But Stroll is fourth here in practice too.
Yeah, and I think Aston Martin have actually, unlike normal where people just kind of play their cards close to the chest, have said, this is it for the 2025 car.
Ooh. So if this doesn't work, that's it. Well, they are prepping for the next year's regs, probably.
They've got Adrian Newey on board. They've got loads of new... I think they're building a new wind tunnel, a huge new technology park.
But I think because of gardening leave and stuff, Newey hasn't been able to do anything to this year's car.
I saw a really weird report where, and I was going to say Ellie, my wife, Toby's mum, understood this, where they have lunchtime meetings. So basically Newey's focus is on the 2026 car.
Yes.
But when he goes into the canteen to sit down for lunch, people on the 2025 project come over and go, oh, Adrian, chips today. By the way, I've just got this slight problem.
So officially?
Officially, but also what they call desk side meetings, where somebody just comes up and has a quiet chat.
Yeah.
And obviously being Adrian Newey, he's not going to say leave me alone, I'm doing 2026. He'll be
then there's no minutes, there's no record, it's not officially...
He's not officially sitting there with the data, but if you show him a spreadsheet, he'll probably go, oh, have you tried changing this? And they'll go off and do it. So
yeah. So he is still there. That maybe is what's helped them a little bit.
Where the upgrades have come from.
Yeah, maybe.
But they're now totally on 2026.
Also, Bortoletto in 8th in FP2 is a little bit of sort of foreshadowing almost, isn't it?
Yeah, Bortoletto had an astonishingly good weekend. Actually, where did Lawson come out while we're foreshadowing? Yeah, Lawson was 11th in FP3.
Yeah, FP2.
We're both tapping away here.
12th.
I have to say to our listeners, this is an IRL podcast. Normally we're in
15th.
England and Wales, but now we're actually sat next to each other.
Yeah, because the British Grand Prix this weekend. Yeah, spoilers. No. Yeah, so free practice, really it was just the big story was Dunn being actually good, getting the job done, as I think all the clickbait headlines said over and over again. Well, I mean,
commentators really run out of stuff to talk about, so...
Actually, having a new driver with a good, very punnable name like that, I imagine the commentators have already started writing lists of them.
Yeah, and they'll just tick them off as they use them.
Alex Dunn overtake, line, getting the job done, got the job done, gets it done into turn,
Charles Leclerc has been done into turn 4.
God.
Qualifying was, I mean, the big news from qualifying is that I'm not sure when Ferrari brought updates.
I think it was for this race or the previous one.
But they
might be on here actually, because he did say.
And I've also heard that with the updates that Ferrari have brought,
they brought a new floor, which was the first time they upgraded their car since Bahrain.
Yeah, but I've heard them say, unlike when Hamilton was at Mercedes in the kind of wilderness years of 23 and 24,
yeah,
they actually understand the car. So they bought the upgrades. They're not quite working out as they thought, but they understand it. They're like, oh, it doesn't work because of this, this, and this. If we change them, then
so
we
they know where to move forward, which is probably why he's a bit more upbeat about it.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any really big shocks. I'm looking down to who...
Hulkenberg, Sainz in 19th was a bit weird. And I don't know if something happened there.
Hulk in 20th.
And then, Tsunoda's a bit unfortunate, but then like Ocon and Stroll.
You see, the problem is now, you look at Tsunoda in 18th and you kind of think, it's not that unusual, unfortunately.
No.
It's a bit...
And then you got Behrman, Colapinto, Hadjar, Albon in 12th, Alonso just outside the points. All pretty kind of standard stuff, I think.
None of what we call the big seven.
What, apart from, Bortoletto sneaking through into Q3, first time in his career.
Yeah, I mean, this was the weekend when Bortoletto suddenly kind of...
arrived.
Unlocked I was an F2 champion, and I've now got the hang of F1.
I think he may have been one of them who went straight from F3. He's only 20, oh my god.
What was his birthday?
Let me have a look. October. So it'll be 21 later on.
Younger than your middle brother.
God.
There.
Let me see.
While you're looking that up, in qualifying we had McLaren, Ferrari.
Yeah, so he won F3 in his debut year, and then went straight and won F2 in his debut year, which is like... I think Russell did that.
And did Piastri?
Piastri did that.
Leclerc, maybe?
Leclerc did that, I think. I don't know about F3 for Leclerc, but he definitely won F2 on debut. So did Russell.
Yeah.
Here are the drivers who've won F2 on their debut, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Hamilton, Hulkenberg, Rosberg, Leclerc... Oh, God. Leclerc and Russell. And Piastri, and now Bortoletto.
Yeah, but you see, you got Hulkenberg and Rosberg in that list. So it's not a guarantee of superstar world-beating talent.
I'd still say it's better than, like, being, I don't know, a Colapinto, unfortunately. Or, like, he probably won't end up being just a midfield driver forever, because even Hulkenberg's got quite a lot of cred now for just being consistent.
Yeah.
And Rosberg, once he got into the right team, could and did actually beat Hamilton on his best day.
I don't think Colapinto's actually that bad.
No,
I think he's in a really bad car. I think the Alpine...
Gasly's been, like, quite upset about the Alpine, actually. He's just been saying on the radio that it's awful, like, all weekend.
Yeah. Actually, nice segue here.
Mm.
The qualifying didn't quite play out, because on the final hot runs in Q3, the last
proper like minute left on the clock, everybody's going.
Yeah, track's properly rubbered in, heated up.
Yeah.
Gasly spun.
Yeah, he spun on the final corner.
Which then caused a ripple of like yellow flags further back and half the field.
Definitely compromised Piastri.
Yeah.
Because Piastri actually came on the radio, and it's the first time I've ever heard him being actually anything other than perfectly ice cool. Because he actually swore on the radio and said, "F me, Jesus Christ."
Yeah.
Because I think he knew he was going for a good one and just got completely not his fault. Screwed.
And he was very, very close to Leclerc anyway.
Yeah, I mean...
I can't do that maths, but it's...
half a tenth.
Yeah.
500ths or so, 600ths maybe.
Yeah, he was really close to Leclerc, so... But then again, Norris had the biggest margin of the whole weekend.
I think...
The whole year?
Whole year, I think. Half a second is monstrous for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, properly dialed into it.
Well, half a second from Leclerc would be 104.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the way back to Verstappen in 7th?
Yeah, he would slot in between Verstappen and Bortoletto.
Yeah, so half a second covers the next 6 cars.
Yeah.
And
And then, but I do wonder if Piastri had got his lap in, how close he could have, because he could have been then like 2/10 off Norris, and then it would have balanced it out a bit more. But still, Leclerc's also not a bad qualifier.
No, and obviously something is working on that Ferrari.
Yeah, they've definitely got the legs on Mercedes now, quite comfortably.
And on Verstappen.
Yeah.
Well, on this track, I mean, it's very track dependent, and as always, Liam Lawson outqualified Verstappen, which must give him the grin from ear to ear.
First time in his career, even though they were teammates. The lead Red Bull car, actually, Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, look, these are all, like, race winners, potentially.
The top 5.
Hamilton hasn't won this... the Ferraris haven't won yet this year, but they're the top 5. And then it's Liam Lawson.
And then it's Verstappen, because, I mean, really, you've got McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and unfortunately Verstappen, because the second Red Bull is nowhere.
Antonelli might have got compromised as well, I think.
Yeah, Antonelli's not normally down in 9th.
And actually, that was his Q3 time was his slowest time of the entire session, if you look.
So that was his banker lap.
So I don't think that was representative.
And Hadjar was comfortably ahead of Tsunoda as well. He got into Q2, whereas Tsunoda went out in Q1.
But then Bortoleto just hanging out in 8th.
Yeah.
Purely on pace as well.
I mean, a good weekend for Bortoleto and Lawson.
Yeah. Also, I will say about Gasly's lap, I think he was actually purple in the middle sector or something. I think that could have been like a P5, P4 lap for Gasly, which in the slowest car on the grid would have been amazing, but he just pushed a bit too hard.
Yeah.
He might have worn the tyres out, actually, because, the tyres are made of, like, marshmallows nowadays.
Yeah, they are, and they're going softer, so... You know what I've struck me? I've really finally realised what's so weird about this season.
Mm-hmm.
They keep developing Norris's car to make him more competitive against Piastri.
Right.
And the thing is, since 2010, the last 15 seasons, which is a long time, we've had one team winning. We've either had Red Bull or Mercedes winning.
Yeah, actually.
And both of them have a very clear, here's our A driver, here's our B driver.
Even in 2021, there was no question that Bottas and Perez were the backups.
Yeah,
and it was
wingmen.
Lewis versus Max.
Yeah, and 2016 was the blip, but...
That was a great season. That was very fun.
Red Bull favoured Vettel, then Mercedes favoured Hamilton,
and now
then Red Bull favoured Verstappen. So we haven't actually seen, an
equal...
Actually, who was Button's teammate in 09?
Barrichello.
He's again a wingman.
The ultimate wingman.
So 07 and 08.
I'd say 7, because that was when McLaren had 2 number 1s.
Yeah.
2008, I think Hamilton, he was fighting Massa, wasn't he?
Yeah, really. Raikkonen a bit.
I don't know why. Did Raikkonen quit in 2009? That's why he wasn't.
Yeah, but you see what I mean. We've had apart from 2016, we have 15 seasons where
you have one lead driver and a backup, because that's what works.
A wingman. But now McLaren have gone out, and I don't understand this, because they said to Piastri, I think he's racing till 2028 with McLaren.
Who, Piastri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Norris's contract, I think, is the end of 26. So, beginning of the year, they sent a strong message to Piastri saying, "You're our hope."
Yeah.
And then he was leading the championship. He's won 5 races this year. He's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're putting development time into developing the car so that Lando Norris can do better. And you kind of think, from a team perspective, surely, I'm not saying hamper Lando Norris, but if you've got one driver who can drive the car really fast and win races, wouldn't it make more sense to kind of favour a little bit, favour Piastri a bit?
Yeah, but...
And their kind of devotion to being fair and letting them race each other seems to almost... It just seems a bit weird that they're kind of changing the front end for Norris.
It's almost hurting them. It's not quite yet, but if you actually look, he's like second in the championship. He is also up there, is old Norris.
Oh yeah, and he's winning firsts and seconds, and
he's not... I mean, the gap between them is actually quite...
It's
get the full results up.
Well, a bit of a spoiler for the race result, but yeah, there's 15.
There's now 15 points between them.
I mean, we'll just say now about Austria, it was Norris's weekend. He has weekends like that where he's untouchable.
Yeah.
I also saw, I'm going to say the most boring, but you'll probably find it interesting.
Yes.
About what the McLaren actually does.
What? For its tyres?
Yeah.
Its brakes? The cooling?
Or for everything. The top mounts, the mounts for the top wishbone on the front are unlike anything anybody else does on the grid.
Right.
There's you can look it up, there's weird physics where you plot lines and centres of gravity.
Yeah.
And that affects how much dive the car has.
Yeah.
Because our listeners will know, even if you're in regular road car, if you press the brakes, the weight transfers forward, the front end compresses and you get dive, the nose goes down.
Weight transfer is a big thing in racing as well.
I know when I was driving, you see somebody who's coming up to a junction and not looking, and they see you coming, and you can see the nose dip because they've just stood on the brakes.
Yeah, they just go.
But what they've done with that top wishbone mount is they've moved it so far back that it's got almost zero dive under braking.
So it just brakes flat.
Yeah. And what that means is, because most of the aero on these cars is the ground effect on the floor.
Yeah.
The floor is staying parallel to the...
They keep ground effect when they're in the braking zones, and so they can chuck it in.
But that also then means, because they're getting more aero all the way through, the front and back aren't sliding or washing out, which isn't heating up and degrading the tyres.
So they can push and go fast.
Yeah.
But the tyres stay even throughout the whole thing.
And also they're not braking, because what normally happens is you go into a corner, you brake, it dives, it disrupts the airflow under the car.
Yeah.
It loses grip and you just slide it. I mean, we said a couple of podcasts ago, Max was basically sliding the back end around.
Yeah.
And controlling it because he's Max. But that does mean you're putting heat and energy through the tyres.
Yeah.
Now, what I don't understand, and what probably nobody apart from maybe Adrian Newey understands, is how they're doing that, but it's not like driving a plank of wood over the curbs.
Yeah.
Because if it hasn't got any dive, then surely if it goes over the curbs, it'll just throw rattle the fillings out of the drivers. And
it probably does, to be fair.
But also that was the problem that Red Bull had, I think, last year. Any bumpy street circuits, it was too stiff and it was just not working properly.
Yeah.
But that also then says why they... not quite why, but the changes they've made to make Norris more competitive. Because the other problem is drivers are used to there being dive. And then they're used to the feel of the front. And they can then tell by how much it's diving where their braking point is. Toby is now zooming in on photos of the front. It's actually behind that that bit there, behind where the rear leg of the top wishbone goes.
Just out of curiosity.
Norris was then feeling that, he said the front end of the car is dead. I can't feel anything. And that then meant he couldn't absolutely chuck.
That's not a very good photo. It's not the same angle.
The front of the car in and feel confident in it. Sorry, Toby in the background is looking up photos of the Ferrari, and you can see the wishbone there by the HP logo. It's just not.
I think it is. Yeah, so this is coming in straight under the number.
Yeah.
This is kind of back a bit.
So you can actually see it if you look at photos of the cars.
Yeah.
It's higher and it's further back, which there is an article out there which draws lots of lines all over it. It's like with the centre of gravity.
Yeah.
But
wow.
But that's also why Norris wasn't good, because when you get close to the limit, which is what you need for qualifying, suddenly there's no feeling in it. So somehow Piastri could drive it. It might be a kind of Red Bull situation, but less extreme.
Well, in that case, you do have to equilibrate the car, because if you do have a Red Bull situation, they might lose the constructors to Ferrari, who are quite equal.
Yeah.
If Norris was suddenly failing to get into Q1 or Q2, or like Q2 or Q3, while Piastri was winning races, it doesn't actually help the team.
If they develop too far in that direction.
Yeah.
I suppose it's kind of levelling it out, but I mean, Austria was one weekend where they made more front end changes, and as we have said, it was Norris's weekend. It was pretty much. Russell was fastest in Q1, but I think Dunn had his car, didn't he?
Yeah, FP1 you mean?
FP1. And then after that,
it was Norris.
Norris was pretty much fastest everywhere.
Yeah. Also, I think they haven't really made Piastri slower necessarily.
No.
I mean, he was compromised here, so he was third, but he then got P2 in the race.
Yeah, in the race, pretty much, two important things happened on the first turn.
Yeah, lap one. Piastri got past Leclerc, I think.
And Leclerc never really had a chance to get back.
I don't think he really knew that he was fighting Piastri. I mean, he was 19 seconds off him at the end. 17 seconds.
And Kimi Antonelli, back in 9th, locked his rear brakes. I mean, if you ever get a chance, just go and look at that onboard from Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
Because it's like he goes around Liam Lawson, he nearly hits the back of, I think, Lewis Hamilton. And he's just like a targeted missile going straight towards Max.
Yeah, it just spins him round.
I mean, I was quite surprised Max didn't start again, but he did hit him pretty much squarely in front of the rear wheel, didn't he?
He probably knackered his rear suspension geometry.
Yeah, or probably maybe jabbed the drive shaft into the gearbox or something.
Yeah, and if he cut the engine and he can't restart it, then that's it.
Oh, I'm looking at that. Something happened before all of that.
Yeah, before the race even began, Sainz stalled on the grid.
He failed to get going for the formation lap.
Yeah.
And then the marshals were all flapping around and he came on the radio to say it's stuck in first gear.
Yeah, which to me is like, can't you just drive away in first gear? Isn't that the point?
Yeah, but I think he'd stalled, so...
I don't think you could get back into neutral to start it again.
Yeah, you probably can't start it on the clutch, no, in these cars.
No. Bump start it.
They said on the commentary there's an external button that the marshals can press to force it into neutral.
I think that's so they can move it, but I think once that's happened, it's external assistance, you can't drive away.
Yeah, but it's not the race, it's the formation lap.
I still don't think it would be counted.
No, it was, because he then got going.
Was that because they pushed it?
I don't know how, but he got it going. He went all the way around. He was allowed to start from the pit lane.
But then...
his brakes caught fire.
Yeah, like, badly as well. And then I think...
Did
he actually start? No, he didn't start the race. They just pulled him back into the garage. But once they'd aborted the formation lap, they had the 10 minutes.
Yeah, they went back to 10 minutes.
Which actually was a good thing, because it gave Sainz a chance to actually get out of the pit lane and get... out of the car and just out of the race altogether before they started.
I have to explain this to Ellie, actually. They have a series of rules, because when you watch early, like if you go in like half an hour before the race, they're all lined up on the pit. They've got umbrella on the start-finish straight. They've got umbrellas. They've got crew equipment trolleys.
Yeah, they do actually drive out to the track. They have like a sighting lap, which they're just... I think one by one, I don't know if they're separated by like a minute or so, but they just leave and they drive out and then they line up in their pit box and then they get out and start their routine and everything.
But they have a series of kind of checkpoints, one of which is 10 minutes, so 10 minutes before the race start, which is usually, unless it's a night race, 10 to 2.
Yeah.
Local time. They have like, there's a set number of mechanics they have, that whether or not they have the tyre blankets on.
Yeah.
So they wound it back to start minus 10 minutes to let them, as you say, get some cooling fans on the brakes.
Well, cooling for it was very, very hot in Austria.
Yeah,
51 degrees track temp, I think they said.
Oh, again, that's
like
really
painful to touch.
Again, that's really bad for the Mercedes. Yeah.
But then once they hit 5 minutes, or it might be 1 or 3 minutes, every mechanic backs away and heads to the side, and then they move off on the formation lap. Gives the mechanics a chance to get back to the pits, cross the track.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. There is this kind of sequence of like at 5 minutes, at 3 minutes, at 2 minutes, they have to be within.
There was that race in Brazil where they aborted the start.
Yep.
So because it was too wet. But then what Norris did is he did another formation lap.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, what are the rules here? And Max was like, what do we do? Like, we're not supposed to have another formation lap because it doesn't say on the sign. And I think there were like 6 or 7 drivers who hung back and waited.
And yeah, half of them followed Norris because he'd gone.
Yeah, which I kind of fair enough, I think. But then I don't think he actually got any penalty for it.
I don't think anybody got any penalties because it's like really deep down in the rule book of. And I think they had to send everybody off. I think they actually had to get the race director on the phone to like the other team bosses.
And say, just get them moving. We don't want to have Norris coming up and go through the markers.
Send them. It's only formation lap speeds.
Yeah.
Anyway. We're saying about the tension between Norris and Piastri.
Yes.
Good old Christian Horner. It was a joke.
the most harmonious individual on the grid.
It was a joke, honest.
What did he say?
I think this was actually the British GP build-up. But everybody's been asking Max when he's going to Mercedes, basically, and who he thinks he'll be replacing.
Yeah.
In all the press.
I've seen pictures of Max literally surrounded by journalists looking like a Renaissance painting, and he just looks so fed up in the middle.
Well, somebody asked Christian Horner, if Max does go, who would you get to replace him? And Christian Horner was sat next to Zach Brown at the time.
Yeah.
So he just laughed and said, I'll get Piastri then. Which, on the one hand, sounds like a joke and a way of poking fun at Zach.
Yeah.
But also, given how political and Machiavellian Horner can be, is it his way of just pulling the pin and throwing a grenade into the enemy camp?
And sowing discontent.
And pointing out that he's noticed that at the moment Piastri seems to not
be getting the fair treatment, you think?
Yes.
I think maybe he's trying it, but I also think Piastri cares so little that it will have no impact. Even if Piastri heard about it, he'd be like, I'm not talking to Red Bull.
No.
I want to win with
McLaren. No, it's not for Piastri though, is it? It's Zach Brown and Andre Stella.
Yeah, but they're also, I think they're resilient enough against it.
Yeah, but it's just like a kind of classic Christian Horner. I'll deflect attention away from me and
stir the pot.
Yeah.
That is what he does best.
Obviously, he's done enough with Toto and Mercedes.
That was hilarious. 2021, they were at each other's throats every race. It was brilliant. God. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, so
Max, we have talked about what Max will do if he doesn't win this year. I think actually they were saying that there are actually do we have just standings? Where's the standings? Driver standings, there we go. They said if there are certain exit clauses for Max, and I think one of them is that if he's not third in the championship, or third or below, then he could leave Red Bull.
Yeah.
And another one I think might be the team being third, which they're not anymore.
Yeah.
And now he's actually under threat from Russell behind for third place.
In the race.
Yeah.
Let me see if Piastri overtook Leclerc at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the only change.
Well, there was a safety car then because of the.
There was a safety car because Antonelli speared Verstappen out.
Yes. There were lots of tyre strategy.
There was really, again, like you say about Piastri getting rattled in qualifying. Piastri knew that he had to get past Norris to get the better strategy, because even at McLaren with their let them fight, the lead car gets lead strategy.
Yeah.
And actually, this is the first time I think we've seen Piastri not ice cold. Because he was fighting wheel to wheel with Norris, as usual, fair.
And he dived down the outside of turn 4, I think.
Yeah, and he locked up.
Yeah.
And again, there was a radio message a bit later on saying, really quite bluntly, don't do that again.
Well, they said no more marginal moves like turn 4.
Yeah.
But I think he also just came on and said, yeah, that was my bad, I won't. Yeah, so Piastri came on the radio and said, yeah, that was my bad. I won't dive him again.
Yeah, but it's actually that and the Q3. Piastri's not looking calm and cool and in control.
Well, it wasn't in this race, no. Which is interesting. I do wonder if something has shifted behind the scenes.
I mean, apart from that, Leclerc and Hamilton had a really
classic Ferrari, boring no man's land race.
Yeah. I've seen really annoying articles going, Hamilton wanted to stay out and get a tyre delta to Leclerc.
Yeah.
And basically, Adami said no.
The Ferrari, brought him in for the hards.
He ended up 10 seconds behind Leclerc. I think, again, it was pitting them out into traffic, and it just...
There was a lot of traffic because it's such a short track.
Yeah, in the lead-up, Bernie Collins, the ex-strategy engineer, who's now a commentator.
Yeah, or an analyst, I think, who's got great insight.
Yeah, she said that if at the Spielberg Ring, you have 20 cars out on track, and they're evenly spaced.
Yeah.
There'll be 3.3 seconds between each one.
Yeah.
So, if you're the engineer with on the pit wall giving information, you absolutely have to look at all the information, sort it, and go, what can I tell them in 3 seconds?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like...
Yeah.
And only tell them.
Yeah.
Further down the list, absolutely amazing. Liam Lawson came in 6th.
Yeah. That might be his best result in Formula 1. It might have came 4th once, I think, back in the day. Like 2023 or 4.
But that is...
pretty good.
I mean, considering that he's... Basically, his ego and his self-esteem has been utterly shredded by being part of the Red Bull machine.
Yeah, it's quite a good comeback overall.
Well, on a day when Verstappen was knocked out and Tsunoda was... Scroll down.
16th or last. 2 laps down.
The only car to get lapped twice.
I think he might have got a penalty.
Oh, he did. There was a lot of scrappy fighting at the back.
Colapinto had a penalty for forcing a driver off the track. We'll get to that.
Yeah, towards the end.
That was quite a thing.
Yeah, because again, this comes back to what I was saying about Piastri. Piastri was lapping, and he came across a real back-marker battle between Colapinto and an Alpine. Colapinto in an Alpine.
It probably was Colapinto, Stroll, Gasly, maybe Hadjar. I think there was a big clump of them at the back.
Yeah, and they were all... where's the race result? Here we are.
They were all towards the back.
And they were all properly... I think it was Colapinto and Stroll, and possibly Gasly, who ended up in 13th from being in Q3.
Yeah.
But that's not a great car, the Alpine.
No, it's really quite bad, actually.
And Piastri tried to get past Colapinto and actually had to go onto the grass, because Colapinto just didn't see him.
Yeah, and he actually pushed him off the track.
And I know he's a backmarker.
Yeah.
I know his job was to get out of the way, but I think it was actually, in part, judgment call from Piastri. I know he's keen to get up the road. He only finished a couple of seconds behind Norris.
Yeah, it's 2.5 seconds off.
But you've got to kind of think, if you see they're scrapping, give it a corner or two for the guy to get on the radio and go, race lead coming up behind you.
I think he already had, though, because he would have caught them in turn 2, the big sweeping up the hill, and into turn 3. He was there. He didn't dive bomb into turn 3, obviously. So I think at that point he's like, okay, they've had 2 or 3 corners. Now they've got to respect their flags. Turn 4 is quite a nice one to get out of the way because it's a sweeping camber. You can kind of go around the outside and keep the speed. Yeah. But also, it was another kind of split-second thing as well, where it's like, he just had to make a choice. He tried to get past on the inside, and Colapinto just turned into him, basically.
Has he got grid drop for that this next time out?
No, he got a 5-second penalty this time, which didn't affect him at all.
Well, because he's back in 15th.
It might have dropped him back behind Lance Stroll, but...
yeah, that was a bit of a kind of hair-raising moment, because obviously Piastri and Norris finished 2 and 1. We've got that backwards. Norris and Piastri finished a 1-2 for McLaren, which is the best they could hope for.
Yeah.
But they're both so close. We saw the breakdown, didn't we? They've had 11 races.
5-6 in favour of Piastri, I think.
Basically in terms of races and qualifying.
And the points are very close as well.
So if Piastri had been knocked out by Colapinto, that'd be an 18-point drop.
Which I think that might have put Norris into the lead of the championship.
Yeah, he's only 15 points behind.
And he made up 7 points, so he would have been maybe not in the lead.
Yeah, because...
he was 22, I think, behind. There's quite a big swing.
Yeah, it would have been 3 points ahead.
If he'd won without Piastri getting the... Yeah, you're right, because 18 points.
So it would have been 3 points ahead for Norris, so that was quite a significant thing.
And yeah, I think Piastri is less super chill than he has been. But, you know...
I think he's aware there's a fight.
And he's... Well, yeah. I think now he can't really pretend I'm not thinking about the championship, because if he hadn't been, he'd have just chilled in second for the whole thing, 20 seconds up from Leclerc.
I say that, but every racing driver wants to win every race.
Yeah, but I do think the fact that he is getting a little bit scrappy and almost desperate to get anything over Norris.
Well, we'll have to see how Britain plays out, if he's kind of, this is a permanent thing, or...
Could just be a one-off.
Yeah.
Like Norris has bad races and good races. Maybe Piastri will be...
On the other hand, a Piastri bad race, and he came in second, 2.5 seconds behind his teammate. I mean...
Yeah, it's hard to call it bad, really.
I think that's the same for all sports. If your B game is very strong, you're going to be a world champion.
Yeah, that's the big difference. And I think ultimately, Norris's B game isn't as good as Piastri's B game. That's the big difference.
If Norris has a bad weekend, he might be 4th or 5th, and this is a bad weekend for Piastri, and he's got 18 points in the bag. We were saying Liam Lawson, big psychological boost.
No, 7th for Alonso. He got points in Canada or Spain.
Yeah, I think it's his 3rd or 4th consecutive point scoring.
He's done, but 7th is big. I mean, that's quite big points for Aston.
Yeah, the upgrades.
And then Bortoleto and Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg started last.
Yeah.
And he came up to 9th, and Bortoleto held on to 8th.
For the 21st Brazilian racing driver to score points.
That's quite a lot.
And we were trying to think if there's been any other famous Brazilian racing drivers, weren't we?
Yeah, I can think of Nelson Piquet Jr.
Oh yeah, massive in Brazil.
No, I think that's it actually. It's Bortoleto's top of the list now.
Yeah. Oh, and Senior. Nelson Piquet Senior.
Max Verstappen's father-in-law, that's who he is.
And also, there's some guy called Senna.
No, I never heard of him.
And Massa, and
Fittipaldi.
Yes.
Brazil's up there in terms. It's like Finland, probably per capita. It's probably one of the most successful countries in F1.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to know a really odd stat? And I know it's really explainable.
What?
Last 3 races. Sauber.
It's outscored Red Bull, haven't they?
Yes. But that's not really fair because Verstappen picked up a penalty in Spain, which is kind of his fault. But it was in a safety car period, so his 10-second penalty made him get 1 point. And then he got punted out in this race, so in 2 races he got 1 point.
Yeah, but I'd say Sauber have a stronger driver lineup than Red Bull do then, because where's Tsunoda?
Well, quite. That's the problem.
But also, I think, given that Sauber have scored points 3 races in a row now, and have a double points finish...
Yeah.
They're not a back marker team anymore. Whatever upgrades they bought in Austria worked. Even back in Canada.
Right, before we went into Austria, and I need to do some mental arithmetic, the clutch of RB, Haas, Aston Martin and Sauber were all grouped from 28 points in the constructors down to 22 points.
Yes.
4 teams within 6. And if you look at the results, is that the result of the race up there?
Yes, race result for Austria.
We had RB in 5th, Aston Martin...
in 7th.
No, RB in 6th.
Aston Martin in 7th.
And Sauber in 8th and 9th.
Haas in 10th. Really the big losers are Alpine.
Yeah, but Alpine were out of that 4-way fight.
Well, Williams are the big losers. I know they're ahead, but double score.
Williams, at the moment, although their car has dropped off in the last couple of races, are kind of in no man's land in 5th.
Albon, I think, has had 3 DNFs in a row.
Yeah, they need to figure out what's happened to their reliability.
You can actually look at Albon's individual. Yeah, he's only scored 2 points since Monaco.
Yeah.
Something wrong has happened to that. Because, look...
And Sainz had a DNF, didn't he, in Austria?
DNS, rather.
Yeah.
But he's hardly scored anything.
But yeah, if you don't like watching the fight at the top, RB, Haas, Aston Martin and Sauber is fascinating because even now, 10 points between 4 teams in the constructors.
Yeah, it's properly tight.
And you look at Haas 29, Aston Martin 28, Sauber 26.
That's 1 5th place freak out of nowhere and they jump.
Yeah.
Sauber have joined up to this fight, which is really good to see.
Yeah, and also, while we're on the constructors, 3rd and 4th, Ferrari will have 2nd place in the constructors. Thank you very much.
Yeah, by 1 point.
That collision where Antonelli wiped out Verstappen
has actually had massive implications for the whole championship, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Because it's wrecked Red Bull. It's kind of hurt Mercedes relative to Ferrari.
Yeah, you could have relied on Antonelli to get 1 or 2 points that would have put Mercedes ahead of Ferrari.
But it's also given Aston and Sauber the opportunity to outscore their rivals.
Well, what it's done is it's opened up 2 places in the top 10.
Yeah.
Basically, that are normally taken by Verstappen and Antonelli.
So, it has actually had massive implications.
And I've always been feeling, not that I want it to turn into banger racing, but I've always had a feeling that, we've had incredible reliability.
Yeah.
I think it might make a huge change if, like, a McLaren or a Ferrari... Oh, he had a double DSQ for Ferrari.
Yeah, that has helped them.
But if one of the top four teams had a really bad day at the races, it would kind of shake things up a bit.
Like Mercedes did at Monaco. And now they're sort of back in third.
But only 1 point behind Ferrari. 1 point, 2 points? 1 point.
Well, Red Bull are kind of floating, actually, in this, like, 100 points up from Williams, but 50-odd points back from Mercedes.
Yeah,
and they've not got a second driver who can support Max, so they're kind of stuck with P4.
They've not got a second driver who can score points at the moment.
Well, no. And if Max doesn't score, then they're just screwed.
I mean, even if he does score, there's one driver trying to outscore two.
Yeah.
Because you can rely on Norris and Piastri, you can rely on Hamilton and Leclerc.
You can mostly rely on Russell and Antonelli.
Well, Russell can get big points, he's always top 5, more or less.
Yeah, and Antonelli's there.
Antonelli can generally get a top 10 finish, which, I mean, he's 18, it's his first season.
We can see, in fact.
Relying on him to get a top 10.
I mean, 4th, 6th, 6th, 11th in Bahrain. 6th, 6th crashed in Italy, or did he, just pull off the road, I think?
I think he just broke down.
And then, he's actually had a bit of a rough run, Antonelli, because he's had the reliability of that Mercedes.
Yeah.
That podium in Canada to keep him afloat.
Yeah, but I mean, people try and kind of go, oh, he's doing really badly, he'll be replaced by Verstappen, but...
He's not really, for a rookie.
Also, Toto Wolff has said it's his first season.
But then
we're not going to judge his results.
But then, to get into silly season gossip, if they do actually get Verstappen over, who do they ditch?
That's why I don't think they should go for Verstappen.
No.
I mean...
I think...
They're developing Antonelli as the next big hope.
Yeah, they want Antonelli.
He's like 10 years younger than Max.
So yeah, something like that.
Max isn't good to his teammates. I'm actually not convinced Max would change teams.
You don't think?
Well, the thing is, he is a Red Bull driver.
He's always been a Red Bull driver.
Ever since he was in, I'm going to call them Toro Rosso back in the day.
Yeah. Even when he was in Formula Regional, Formula 3, he was a Red Bull Junior.
And Red Bull have gone, you are our number one driver.
Yeah.
We love you. And if you went to, say, Mercedes for the sake of argument, I can't imagine either Antonelli or Russell going, oh, I'll be your wingman, I'll do exactly what you want.
No, maybe Antonelli, definitely not Russell. I think having Russell and Verstappen on the same team is a recipe for disaster.
I don't think either of them would stay. I mean, I know they want the fastest car, but I still think there's a real animosity between them.
Russell's the one who's not got a contract. So surely, if Toto bags Verstappen, it's bye-bye George. And where does he go then? Can't go to Red Bull because it's terrible. Yeah. There's no space anywhere, really.
Well, I'll go back to what we said last time. If more Saudi money comes into Aston Martin,
they might.
Alonso's getting older. He's going to move to a halo role at some point, a Helmut Marko and Niki Lauda type.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think Lance Stroll... I think Lance Stroll is testing Rally and WEC. I don't think he's long for the sport.
No. So that's 2 seats freed up.
There's 2 seats in an Adrian Newey designed car with a stack of development cash behind it.
You could stick it out in Aston for a year or 2 until they get good, certainly. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. There's Cadillac as well, maybe. I know they're sort of sniffing around Perez and Bottas and...
Yeah, but also they're a brand new team. They're not going to be fast straight off.
Yeah, but they're going to be a Formula 1 drive, you know.
Fred Vasseur is very happy with his lineup.
Although I don't think Hamilton, unfortunately, has that many seasons.
No.
I don't think he's going to be there for 10 years. It's probably another 4 or 5 at most.
But Russell's already mid-20s, so, is he going to want to wait that long?
McLaren are pretty immovable, I think, for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they've signed Piastri up for a long contract.
They'd be stupid to get rid of Norris as much as he's a bit...
I mean, the other thing about the Norris-Piastri system is that Norris has been in since 2019.
Yeah.
So 19, 20, 21, 22. So this is 7th year in the sport.
Yeah.
And he's going toe-to-toe with somebody who's in their 3rd year and is...
better than them, really.
Yeah.
Almost.
And you kind of think... In a way, it's like when Button won his championship.
Yeah.
Button was a good midfield driver. Obviously, he was British, so everybody loved him.
Well, everybody in Britain did.
Yeah. But I remember at the time when he won Hungary.
in 2006.
And it was like the longest anybody had ever waited for a win at the time, because it was like 113th race.
Yeah, because he'd been around for ages.
But it was, you know, the people who are the absolute...
Well, Hamilton won his 9th race in Formula 1.
I don't know what Verstappen did, or Vettel, but...
Verstappen was like mid-20s, I think, because he did a whole season at Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
Probably like his 26th or 7th. And then Vettel, I think, it was in his first full season, because he won with Toro Rosso at Monza in the rain.
Yeah.
Which was a big, like, shock. And probably earned him his Red Bull seat.
But, you know, the kind of multi-world champions, they don't wait.
Take that long. Even Leclerc won in his first season.
They don't take 5 or 6 seasons to get... I mean, when was his first win? It was 24, wasn't it, Norris?
Yeah, it was last year. It was Miami.
So that was his 6th season. Whereas Piastri has been winning in his 3rd.
But then he jumped into the same car that Norris did, but without building it up as Norris did for the 3 or 4 years prior. So it's kind of luck.
Yeah, people always say that, oh, he's in the fastest car.
But that actually he went through the rigmarole of denying Alpine, didn't he?
Yeah, and also...
That was actually kind of the anti-Alonso move, to be that like that kind
also,
of...
Button had a real knack of picking the wrong team at the wrong time.
Well, I mean, Alonso and Button were teammates at McLaren in like 2015 when they were awful.
Yes.
So you can tell.
But yeah, people always say, oh, he was in the fastest car, it was handed to him on a plate. But actually, if you built the fastest car as a team boss, you're going to want the best driver.
Yeah, he said we're going to... For the British Grand Prix, someone asked Zach Brown, what have you bought this weekend? And I think he said, we've bought the 2 fastest drivers and a fast car. Yeah. And that was it.
Well, yeah, because they always ask him those, and he's not going to say, oh, well, we've set this wing angle and we've thought, you know...
Yeah, we're using this alloy on our wishbones to save this much grams.
Yeah, and we've got an extra 2 points of downforce here because we think that... It's like... They're never going to answer that sensibly, are they?
Well, no. They know as well. It's all a game, really, isn't it? It's like a dance. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much covered it, hasn't it? How are we doing for time?
About 45 minutes in.
I mean...
It's not that... It was not a terrifically interesting race.
Well, it kind of was, with Sainz, Antonelli and Verstappen dropping out.
It was... At the beginning, it was quite interesting and exciting. The middle was classically, like we've talked about, it was just...
Tyre strategy.
If you love tyre strategy, it was great, but apart from that, it was quite boring. And then there was the ending, which they also always promise a barnstorming finish. It's like his tyres are 10 laps younger and he's catching up to him, and then it never actually ends up happening.
That's because his tyres are 10 laps younger and he's catching up to him, but, he can't overtake.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the 2018 Mexican Grand Prix.
Actually, you know what?
They were hyping up the ending with like 4 different drivers converging, but then they hit dirty air and all went into management mode and nothing happened.
You know what I've heard said about the McLaren as well?
What?
It's really odd because Piastri followed Norris very closely for a lot of that race.
The early stages, yeah. He was right up with him.
Up into the DNS for a few laps, dropped back to recharge and cool tyres. But he didn't shred his tyres. His deck wasn't...
No.
His deck wasn't bad. He wasn't being hurt by following. Norris's deck wasn't bad.
From pushing away from him.
Yeah. And from pushing hard to keep him behind.
Yeah.
But their tyre degradation was...
good, especially in the heat.
Yeah.
Their cooling is good.
Yeah. You're right, he said it was a hot track.
Well, that's why, Mercedes like a cooler track. McLaren doesn't care. They could,
Yeah, they have a kind of invincible car.
They could drive through an active volcano and they'd probably have better deg than most cars would do at a normal track.
And again, people were like, how have they built that car?
Well, that's why they've got not necessarily the car that's actually the fastest outright, but it's able to win races because it can push.
It has won a lot of pole positions this year. I think it's even single lap quick.
It is single lap quick as well, but Verstappen's had a few poles and so has Leclerc.
Yeah.
He's fallible over a single lap, but then they win those races because they can cool their tyres much better.
And fight.
Yeah, and they can fight without shredding their tyres.
It is weird. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah. I did see some reports that Hamilton was annoyed by the strategy, but all the interviews I saw, he looked really chuffed because they bought upgrades.
Through 3rd and 4th. Great for the constructors. I mean, they were best behind McLaren.
Yeah.
And I think he said afterwards they made the right call bringing me in because he would have... he wouldn't have been as close to Leclerc as he was if he'd had worse tyres at the time.
Yeah, a lot of what Ferrari were saying was this is the best 4-hour race.
Yeah, I think they said this is for fastest possible race. He would have lost heaps of time. He might have even fallen back into the clutches of Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 seconds, maybe not, but...
Yeah, and I mean, I think everybody up and down the pit lane are kind of viewing this year a bit like 23 with Red Bull.
McLaren are just going to win.
I think they're like, yeah, we'd love to be close to the McLarens, but honestly...
Across the whole season, no, but maybe they can sneak a win here and there.
Yeah.
I do hope Hamilton wins in Britain.
God, that'd be his 10th win in a single circuit.
Yeah, I mean, it's way beyond what anyone else has ever done now.
Yeah.
At a single circuit. It's, like, ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we need to go off and
Watch the British FP3.
I think, yeah, if there's any left of it.
No, it's just finished, but I think there was nothing really.
No.
Nothing exciting.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yep.
If you like a good mystery book, look up Graham H. Miller. If you like a gaming channel, look up Official TV, which I think is doing quite well, isn't it?
It is doing quite well, yeah.
And we'll be back, hopefully not quite so late this time, with our podcast for the British Grand Prix. And then we've got a few weeks off, haven't we?
It's a bit of a weird schedule if we have a look.
What do they call the summer break? Because there's like 2 or 3 breaks of several weeks.
Yeah, we've got, I think that's a 3-week break, because it's
3 weeks
21 days to Belgium. And then it's Hungary almost immediately afterwards, I think.
Yeah.
But then it's another... that's almost 4 weeks, I think, to the Netherlands.
It's 4 weeks. Is that what they call the summer break?
Well, there's kind of 2, because there never used to be a gap of 3 weeks. Unless it was a summer break. So, yeah. I'm thinking that's going to be the summer break. And then after Italy, they go to Baku, and then it's like Singapore, US, and then it's the American circuit.
Yeah.
Everything kicks back off again in the latter half of the year.
What was Austria, the 11th race?
Yeah, round 11. This is round 12.
So Great Britain will be halfway. So when we do the Britain podcast, we'll be like, we're halfway through the season. What do we think?
Yeah, and we can have a look at, how far McLaren are ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Mm-hmm. Bye.